Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Check out the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. It's always pleasant to be with you every single day. We're going to talk about going back to school, and let's talk a little bit about schools. And this has been a study that's been done by the CDC. And it's pretty interesting what they've come up with. And I've often thought about this. I was one of those kids. When we moved from Oxford when I was 14 years old and into the Geraldine, Alabama area, lived in a little town called Whiten. It's just a little community. And so because it was so small, the school bus driver would pick us up early in the morning, like super early, just after 6 o'clock. We had to get to bed super early. And then we were also the last ones let off the bus. And that's simply because the school bus driver just lived right down the road from where we lived. So that kind of put us in a bad shape right there. So we had to go to bed early and get plenty of sleep, especially when we had tests. And, it's just a learning curve. It's just, that's just the way it is. Kids need rest. So there has been studies done that schools start too early. Now, I survived it. As a matter of fact, it probably made me a little bit more ambitious. And so anyway, just wanted to give you some ideas on what the CDC says. First of all, kids will stay up all night playing with games, playing on their cell phone, all these kinds of things. You, the parent, you need to get a grip on it and make sure the kids get plenty of rest, because we want them to grow up to be very, very smart. Let's have so many people who are qualified to be the school valedictorian in their senior year. Let's just have an epidemic on that. Wouldn't that be a great thing? That would be a great, great problem to have. I want to show you a video, and this is talking about kids and how they react when they are deprived from sleep.
New research from the CDC shows that during the pandemic, teenagers got less sleep, causing mental health problems.
If we're not getting long enough durations of sleep, we have limited ability to get into REM sleep. And that can definitely lead to worse mental health outcomes with flares of depression, anxiety, decreased ability to handle different stressors.
Family medicine doctor Rachel Kermis attributes the lack of sleep primarily to social media trends that shifted during lockdown.
With the pandemic, people tended to go more towards social media for finding friends and kind of get that validation from the peer group. With that, everyone has immediate access to you, and that can happen late at night, which leads to, again, worse sleep outcomes.
Nearly 8,000 children ages 13 to 18 participated in the study. Researchers found students who slept less than 7 hours per school night or experienced poor mental health were more likely to report increased difficulty during schoolwork. Family medicine Dr. Jacob Wood agrees.
Kids in their teenage years should be getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep.
Both Dr. Kermis and Wood say the best way to curb this issue is by following a schedule and putting the electronics away.
Don't take your cell phone to bed. And that's really, really, really easy to say. And it's really, really, really hard to do.
I strongly recommend against having TVs in the rooms too, because that can lead to distraction and poor sleep hygiene.
Ariel Salk, NBC Local 33 News.
I thought that very interesting right there. I know when Brad was going to school, now, we had cell phones and stuff back in those days, but not like it is right now. So parents are really having to compete with a lot of electronics and things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. This is from the website cdc.gov. And so the person who is writing this article suggests schools start too early. So let's dig in and see what he says. Okay, now this was actually updated last year, October the 5th, 2022. But learn how starting school later could help kids get enough sleep and improve their health, academic performance, and quality of life. Now, we have to be the parent. And so we have to make sure that we tell the kids when to go to bed, when to go to sleep, unless they're paying rent. Now, if they're paying rent, they can do whatever they want to do. But right now, you're the parent, so you be the judge of that. Okay, now, not getting enough sleep is common among high school students and is associated with several health risks, including being overweight, drinking alcohol, smoking tobacco, and using drugs, as well as poor academic performance. Now, one of the reasons kids do not get enough sleep is early school start times. I kind of halfway agree with this. Now, the American Academy of Pediatrics has recommended that middle and high schools start at 8:30 a.m. or later to give students the opportunity to get the amount of sleep they need. But most Americans kids start school way too early. I know our school actually started right at 8 o'clock, maybe about 15 minutes till 8 or something like that. Again, we had to get on the bus at 6, which meant we had to get up about 4, to get our sleepy heads out of the bed and eat breakfast and get dressed and that kind of thing. So I kind of get it. I did make it, and I wound up with really good grades. And as a matter of fact, I actually got to represent the school in the math contest and then the typing contest. So not so shabby, not too bad. But you do need rest. But now we also had a bed curfew time. We had to be in bed at a particular time. My thing, of course, we didn't have cell phones and stuff back in that day. But as you can see from behind me right here, I'm an avid reader. And so my deal, I would get into trouble from reading. What I would do is get the covers and kind of tin it over my head with my knees, get a flashlight. It's a wonder I can see anything. And get a flashlight, pull the book up, and just start reading a book instead of sleeping, which was a bad thing. But my parents didn't know about it yet, okay? Now, according to a 2014 School Health Policies and Practices study, this is a PDF, you can download it from the CDC.gov website. 93% of high schools and 83% of middle schools in the U.S. started before 8:30 a.m. Now, according to an earlier CDC study that analyzed U.S. Department of Education data from the 2011-2012 school year, 42 states reported that most 75 to 100% public and middle and high schools started before 8:30. Now, the percentage of schools starting at 8:30 or later varied greatly by state. For example, no schools in Hawaii, Mississippi, and Wyoming started after 8:30. Now, most schools in North Dakota, that's like 78% of the schools, and Alaska, 76% of those schools started after 8:30 a.m. Now, let's talk about kids and sleep. So the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, again, there's another PDF, you can download that and look at it, recommends that teenagers aged 13 to 18 years should regularly sleep 8 to 10 hours per day for good health. They also do not, if they do not get enough sleep, they're more likely to be overweight, not engaged in daily physical activity. They could suffer from symptoms of depression, engage in unhealthy risk behaviors such as drinking, smoking, alcohol, using illicit drugs, and also these kids tend to perform poorly in school. Now, some people need more sleep than others. I don't sleep a lot, but I go to bed early. The nighttime, a particular time at night, I'm conked. I am just out of it. And so I mean, that's just me. I don't sleep that many hours, but I have to go to bed early. So during puberty, these kids become sleepy later at night and need to sleep later in the morning as a result in shifts in their biological rhythms. So a lot of it has to do with staying up and playing with games, and we got to admit that. These biological changes are often combined with poor sleep habits, including irregular bedtimes, the presence of electronics in the bedroom. We got that one guessed. And also during the school week, school start times are the main reasons students wake up when they do. So it's the combination of late bedtimes and early school start times result in most kids not getting enough sleep. And that was our deal. Again, having to get up early to be on the bus at 6 o'clock and then getting off the bus late in the afternoon, which I did most of my homework on the bus anyway. So everyone can play an important role. All right, parents, let's talk about what you can do. Okay, now remember, you're the parents here, okay? You need to model and encourage habits that help promote good sleep. Set a regular bedtime and rise time, including the weekends. This is recommended for everyone, kids, adults alike. Kids with parent set times usually get more sleep than those whose parents do not set bedtimes. So like we knew at 8:30 we had to be in the bed, Of course, I was reading books, but anyway, we had to be in the bed by then. Dimming the light. Now, kids who are exposed to more light, such as room lighting or from electronics, in the evening are less likely to get enough sleep. So this is something you can do. Start a media curfew. Technology use such as your computers, the video gaming, or mobile phones may also attribute to late bedtime. So parents should consider banning technology use after a certain time or removing those technologies from the bedroom. That might be the wise thing to do. Contact your local school officials about later school start times because some commonly mentioned barriers to keep in mind are potentially increases in transportation costs and scheduling difficulties. Healthcare professionals educate the kids' parents and their parents about the importance of adequate sleep and factors that contribute to insufficient sleep among kids. And this is another thing, try to have as happy a family life as you possibly can. I mean, that can attribute a lot right there. School officials learn more about research connecting sleep and school start times. So good sleep hygiene in combination with later school times will enable these kids to be healthier and better academic achievers. Now there's information you can get, and we'll go into a break in just a minute, but you can go to the CDC Sleep and Disorders Program. You can go to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, help your teen recharge with sleep, and also the National Health Sleep Awareness Project. And that's the little @ Sleep Recharges Your Campaign. And there are several references in which to do that. When we come back, we're still going to talk about sleep. We're going to talk about the basics about sleep and some key disorders that could be in effect, that could be keeping your child from sleeping. Okay, let's go into a break. We're going to be right back in just a minute.
You have been at this for 12 years. Why are you doing it? Because God's children are not for sale.
Rated PG-13.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. It's not too early to start thinking about the kids going back to school. If you're going ahead and get them on a routine, maybe a couple of weeks before school, their minds are going to get ready, okay? And they'll be ready to sleep longer, go to bed earlier would be a good thing. Brad had a curfew too. Mine wasn't 8:30 like my parents was, but mine was 9 o'clock. And I expected him to be in his bed, no reading books, because I know I used to do that. No reading books, nothing, no television in the room, none of that stuff. He had to have his sleep. He didn't have to go and get up as early as I did because we lived right at school. So I would just take him to school on the way to work. And so that's how we did that. But you're the parent, okay? So let's talk about the basics of sleep. Understanding how lack of sleep affects your health can allow you to make some healthier decisions for you and for your family. So the following information I'm just about to give you about sleep disorders and how lack of sleep can affect the health of someone living on a chronic disease. We're going to find out how much sleep is recommended for different age groups and read tips on how to improve the quality of our sleep. This section ends with recommendations on what to do if you are still having trouble sleeping. So let's talk about those. Okay, so we have key sleep disorders. Sleep-related difficulties affect many, many people. Okay, the following is a description of some of the major sleep disorders. If you or someone you know is experiencing any of the following, it's important to receive an evaluation by a healthcare provider, or if necessary, a provider specializing especially in sleep medicine. Insomnia is one of them. Insomnia is characterized by the inability to initiate or maintain sleep. It may also take the form of early morning awakening, in which the individual awakes several hours early and is unable to resume sleeping. I do that if I have something that I've got planned for the day. So let's just say I do this almost every single time when I go out to a business and we have live remotes. I can't sleep. I'm so excited about going to my sponsor's place of business and just having it's just exciting to me. So I wake up really early thinking about all the things I need to be doing that's hard for me to go back to sleep. So let's see if they can help me here. Okay, difficulty initiating or maintaining sleep may also manifest itself as excessive daytime sleepiness, which can result in functional impairment throughout the day. So before arriving at a diagnosis of primary insomnia, the healthcare provider will rule out other potential causes, such as other sleep disorders, side effects of medications, could be substance abuse, depression, or other previously undetected illness. Chronic insomnia or learned or conditioned insomnia may result from a stressor combined with fear of being unable to sleep. So, individuals with this condition may sleep better when not in their own beds. Healthcare providers may treat chronic insomnia with a combination of use of sedative or maybe sedative antidepressant medications, along with behavioral techniques that promote regular sleep. Narcolepsy. Now, I've heard of this before. So, excessive daytime sleeping, including episodes of irresistible sleepiness, in combination with sudden muscle weakness, are the hallmark signs of narcolepsy. Now, the sudden muscle weakness seen in this affliction may be by strong emotion or surprise. Now, episodes have been described as sleep attacks. I knew someone like that. She could be driving down the road and all of a sudden, click, she goes to sleep. It's a living wonder she didn't get killed in a car wreck that way. And these sleep attacks could occur in unusual circumstances, such as walking or other forms of physical activity. Now, the healthcare provider may treat with stimulant medications combined with behavioral interventions, such as regular scheduled naps to minimize the potential disruptiveness on the individual's life. And then a lot of folks have this. It's called the restless legs syndrome, RLS. RLS is characterized by an unpleasant creeping sensation, often feeling like it's originating in the lower legs, but often associated with aches and pains throughout the legs. This often causes difficulty initiating sleep and is relieved by movement of the leg, such as walking or kicking. Now, abnormalities have often been associated with RLS. Healthcare providers often combine a medication to help correct the underlying abnormally, along with a medicine to promote sleep continually in the treatment of RLS. Now, sleep apnea. Okay, so when I developed asthma, I had to go for sleep treatments and that kind of thing because I was just, couldn't breathe at night and all that kind of stuff. And I knew what it was. I just couldn't breathe. So they were afraid I might have developed sleep apnea. And I didn't. And by the way, they put all this garbo, mumbo jumbo all over you, and you would think you can't sleep. Well, I could. I slept all night long. But what they do, they're afraid it could be snoring, and it could be more than just an annoying habit. It could be a sign of sleep apnea. So persons with sleep apnea make periodic gasping or snorting noises during which their sleep is momentarily disrupted. I would because I couldn't breathe. It had nothing to do with that. I could have told the doctors that, but I was required. I had to go. Now, those with sleep apnea may also experience excessive daytime sleepiness, as their sleep is commonly interrupted and may not feel restorative. Now, treatment of sleep apnea is dependent on its cause. And yes, kids can get sleep apnea. If other medical problems are present, such as congestive heart failure or nasal obstruction, sleep apnea may resolve with treatment of these conditions. So they want to treat the condition. Such as congestive heart failure or nasal obstruction, sleep apnea may result with treatment. Gentle air pressure administered during sleep, typically in the form of a nasal continuous positive airway pressure device, may also be effective in the treatment of sleep apnea. Now, as interruption of regular breathing or obstruction of the airway during sleep can pose serious health complications, symptoms of sleep apnea should be taken seriously. So treatment should be sought from a healthcare provider. Totally agree with that assumption. Mine wound up actually not being sleep apnea. It was just what I had going on in my issue with the. I'm going to do another one, tips for better sleep, before we go. So I'm clicking on that. Mine was just from having asthma. And so I was having asthma attacks at night, which was disrupting my sleep. Now let's talk about tips for a better sleep, and I think we've got time for these. So good sleep habits. Everything begins with a habit, right? That's why your kids going back to school, you need to start on them right now. Get them, if you're going to set a curfew for them to go to sleep and go to bed, say at 9 o'clock, even if it's 10 o'clock, whatever time it is, you need to go ahead and get that started channeling right now to go ahead and get them ready for it, because everything works as a habit. Basically, so they say a habit is something that you continually do for 21 days. And it winds up not being, it winds up being something brand new in your world. So, and that has happened, it has worked. So good sleep habits, sometimes referred to as sleep hygiene, can help you get a good night's sleep. Some habits can improve your sleep health. So the number one they're saying is just plain old be consistent. Go to bed at the same time each night and get up at the same time each morning, including the weekends. We talked about that a little bit earlier about the kids. Number two, you want to make sure that bedroom is quiet, dark, relaxing, and at a comfortable temperature. I know I had a friend who could not sleep when we had full moons out. No, she wasn't a vampire or a werewolf or anything else. So her parents had to put blackout curtains in her room so she could sleep when we had a full moon. She just couldn't. It was just that light, actual light coming in. Now she had curtains and she had shears behind the curtains. So they took her to the doctor and said, we just noticed it happens on full moons. And of course we all kidded her around telling her she was a werewolf, vampire or something. And so the doctor said, simple fix, get blackout curtains. So they got the blackout curtains, put them up and she could sleep. Simple. Make sure the bedroom is quiet. Make sure it's dark, relaxing, and a comfortable temperature. Can't be too hot, can't be too cold. Okay, remove electronic devices such as TVs, computers, smartphones from the bedroom. I know what your kids are going to say. They're going to say, but I use mine for an alarm clock. I use my phone for an alarm clock. Don't buy that. You can get a little cheap alarm clock off of Amazon, or you can go to Walmart or whatever, get one way under $10 and say, look, I'm going to bring you back to the old-timey days. Here's a wind-up clock, okay? This is going to wake you up. Okay. Another thing is avoid large meals, caffeine, alcohol during bedtime. Yeah, it's true. What you eat, if you're going to eat like a couple of tacos before you go to bed, and they're the spicy chili types right there, it's probably going to keep you up. So do watch what you eat before you go. And also, I try not to drink anything after 6. That way I'm not going to have to get up and go to the sandbox, if you know what I mean. Get some exercise. Being physically active during the day can help you fall asleep more easily at night. I mean, it really, really does. And I'll tell you something else that helps too. You know, some people like Phil has always been like a shower person in the morning. Okay, so he wants to get up, start the day, be ready to take charge, and that kind of thing with his sleep. You know, if I take a bath and just like salt, put some salt in there, and maybe have some kind of lavender fragrance going, whether it's a candle or maybe the bath salts could be lavender scented, I go to sleep like super fast. Not that I ever really need help. I go to sleep pretty good. But just little things like that. So if you have kids who are having a hard time going to sleep, help them to take a warm bath. Not hot, but a warm bath. Put some bath salts in there. It'll help them to actually relax. My grandmother used to, when she would have a hard time going to sleep, she'd say, you know what? I'm tired, but I'm not tired. I'm tired, but I'm not sleepy. She would say that. So she would just get a tub of water and put salt in it and just soak her feet. And she was like out like that. Okay, guys, it's time to call it a day. Get those kids ready. I mean, it's time for school to be starting back. Get them on the habit right now. 21 days of going to bed earlier than they have been throughout the summer. And I promise you, they're going to be happy. They're going to make better grades, and they're going to get a whole lot more sleep and a lot more rest. Thank you for watching.